Full immersion begins in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Is this Holler?
Yes, it is.
Peace, good brother. How you?
Peace, brother. How you doing?
Trying to calm down, but doing well.
Nah, don't calm down. We need to be angry. We need to be passionate. I'm thinking like somebody on my YouTube channel said, how come every time a black man dies, we talk about it? I'm like, so what, we not supposed to talk about it?
Right.
What, we just going to pretend it didn't happen?
Exactly.
You know?
It's going to go away.
But I wanted to ask the question and just make a few statements. How come there isn't any black on Scandinavian crime in the black community? Like, what about the black on Armenian crime in the black community? You think it might have something to do with the fact that there are no Armenians, there are no Scandinavians, it's just black folks?
Right. Indeed.
There is no black on black crime is not a thing, because if it was a real thing, then you would have to say there's Asian on Asian crime, there's white on white crime, there's Mexican on Mexican crime. And let's crunch the numbers. Approximately 44 million black people in America. Approximately. America has jailed the most people in a free country in the world. I think they say there's about 2 million people in jail.
Right.
In America. Out of those 2 million people, blacks are disproportionately arrested and convicted and sent to jail and prison. So last time I checked, it was about, and I'm subject to being corrected, but the last time I checked, it was about 800,000 black people in jail. So out of that 2 million, almost half is black.
Right.
Now they say that black folks are the most violent people in this country. That per capita, we commit more crime and most murder and homicides against each other. So let me ask you a question. If black people are killing each other to the tune of 96%, and there's 44 million black people in America, how many of us would be in jail?
Wow. Man.
See, this is a situation. This is a situation, brother, where am I going to say that black folks killing each other is not a problem? No, I won't say that. But if I have some flies in my apartment, do I go and get an AR-15 to kill them?
No.
It's called proportional problem. If you have a problem, you deal with it.
Right.
But the reason why all of this stuff is being the black on black crime, the homosexual agenda, the interracial relationships, the perms versus the weaves, the black man versus black woman, the feminist versus the MGTOWs or whatever. This is all distractions. These are all molehills blown up to be bigger than what they are, because what does it do? It keeps people from focusing on what the real issue is, and that's land, infrastructure, nationhood.
Indeed.
And there's another one that they have, that they do. This is another technique, and this is not an accident. You've probably been a victim of this too. People will try to take you, Minister DeWoo, and make you synonymous with land, infrastructure, nationhood, or the BAIO, because if they can tear you down, then they can tear down the concept.
Yep.
It's not an accident.
Yep.
And you've seen it in motion with me. I mean, you know how it is with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They want to attach me. They want to attack me personally, because if they can attack me personally and tie me to the concept of nationhood, then you tear down nationhood. I tell people all the time, and I made this point over and over again, I am not King Hollop. I am subject to falling off just like everybody else. And if I do, guess what? Land, infrastructure, nationhood is still the solution to our problems. So this is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than any individual person. And this is the thing that angers them, because they don't know how to stop it. And they can't stop it. Because right now, nationhood is like a snowball rolling downhill, and people don't even realize it. This is the reason why I stay positive and I feel good about the future. I don't have this doom and gloom, misery thing going on where everything is woe is me and black folks ain't crap and they ain't never going to do nothing. I don't sing that.
Right.
Because you just look and see what's going on. Colin Kaepernick started something, and he flushed a lot of coons out of the bushes.
No
if you notice. Flushed a lot of coons out the bushes. It's getting to the point, the environment is getting to the point now where Negroes are going to have to pick a side. If you notice, you're seeing the celebrities and the athletes, they're being forced to pick a side.
Yes,
do you want to stand with your people who's being murdered by the system, or do you want to stand by the system that's murdering them?
Right.
And it's going to be a real tough time for fence straddlers going into the future. I mean, just recently, I don't know if you've seen the thing that Roger had posted in the group. Brothers and sisters rolling up in the churches now.
Yep, I did.
You know, the chickens are coming home to roost. It's like there's nothing that we can do but except reap the benefits of everything that's happening, because all of these people that's been singing this song about how great America is, or how great we going to do here, and we can do it right here, and this is our land, and all this bullshit, they're being exposed on a daily basis.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be a point, it's going to reach a point that it's going to get to critical mass where if you that type of Negro that's out here talking that stuff, it's going to be a bad place for you. I don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that, because we're standing on the right side of history. Me and I was talking with my brother, and we were talking about the youth, and he said he's in full support of whatever the youth is doing, and I said I am too. And I don't feel that people that weren't there for the youth, see, you can talk to the youth, I can talk to the youth, my brother can, because we dealt with them.
Right.
But if you haven't been there, if you haven't seen things from their point of view, if you can't understand their anger, then what cultural critique can you possibly offer that has any validity or relevance?
None at all. The only thing you can do is try to shame them, which is what you keep trying to do.
Yeah, and you see how that works.
Yep.
You know, you sit up here, you was never there, you never stood up, you never gave them anything that they can take into the future, and now you want to question their tactics and their strategies. Let me tell you something. We went through our time, and we went through our way of dealing with this beast. Maybe their way of dealing with it is the better way. Who knows? But that's for them to determine.
Right. Yep.
Maybe they might yield some results. Who knows? But I know one thing, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, we tried everything else. We tried everything else. Let them try what they feel they need to try. And instead of sitting back critiquing it, support it. Because this is what you got to think. If you're having a hard time doing that, elders, so-called elders, let me tell you how you can do it. Realize that you didn't do shit. Realize that you left them with absolutely nothing. See, we had a support system. When we were coming up, there was a slave theater. There was this strong cultural conscious demographic. I won't say community because I just hate saying it. There was this demographic. There was this demographic that we can go to, and we had all of these teachers, all of these people with knowledge that was teaching us and that we can learn from. Where's that at now? What do they have? We had John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Alton Maddox, Khalid Muhammad, all of these different people, and what do they got? Steve Harvey? Wendy Williams? You know, where's the outlet where they can go to learn something?
Indeed.
So, you know, I don't want to talk your ear off, but that's basically what I was thinking. It's like we have to understand the only way that you can communicate with the youth of today is you got to understand their pain. You got to understand why they do what they do, why they're frustrated. If you can't understand that and you want to talk etiquette, please get the hell out of here with that etiquette. Are you serious? Nobody has time for that bullshit.
Yo, I want to get your before we hang up here. I want to get your thoughts on the concept of preach what you practice, because that's the crux of what I've been saying. And I think that, you know, my teacher taught me this a long time ago, and I live by the credo. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I am a minister, and my job is to uplift, quote unquote, fallen humanity. But one thing I don't do is I don't be on the roster or even in person. You must not fornicate. You fornicating bastards are going to go to hell and some other stuff. I don't do that. I'm not a moralist.
Right.
I try my best. And that's not to say I don't practice morals, but what it is to say is that anything that I am doing myself, I talk about. What I am not doing, I don't talk about. There's a lot of, in the conscious community, preaching community, Muslim community, they say you have to enforce the law regardless if you live in it or not. To me, that erodes not only my credibility, but it erodes the credibility of the whole brand. So I talk about, and what my teacher taught me, was don't practice what you preach because it's too late. You have already said it, now you got to live it. But preach what you practice because that makes it easier for you. What do you think?
Exactly. I agree 1,000%. Because I tell people all the time, I always get put into the conscious man box. And the conscious man box is, you know, you're asexual, I guess. You have no sexuality attached to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You like they automatically, you're not supposed to be paid. You know, you got to be broke to be in the conscious man. And it's just all of this stuff that people want to, because what it is that, and to a great degree, it's the conscious community's fault. I don't want to make it seem, I just don't want to put it all on the people to make it seem as if they do. When you paint yourself a certain way, when you paint yourself as super righteous and super pious when that ain't the real deal, you know, people look at it and say, well, you know, this is some bullshit. Like, I think, was I talking to, I think it was Dev I was speaking to about this. I loved the Million Man March. I loved it because of the people that were there. I believe that the brothers that all came there came with the right spirit, and they really wanted to see a change. But as much as I love the Million Man March, the Million Man March actually was the end of the conscious community. Because when people, like I said before, and I think it was on your show or mine, when you can take a $10 or $20 bill and pass it when the basket is 100 yards away, and that $100 makes it into that basket, and you see that everybody there is righteous and everybody's there trying to do the right thing and then the organizers who put the damn thing together only see what's in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it's all said and done, the people say, this is some bullshit.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what they did. They rejected every time you come with that, and this is one of the hurdles that the BAIO has to get over.
Mm-hmm.
Because people they had their hearts broken. They went out with their true spirit, in the spirit of unity, in the spirit of moving forward and getting something done, and they ran right into another fucking hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's going to be dire consequences for that.
Right.
The universe is going to pay everybody who took advantage of the goodwill and the good spirit of the people. They are going to pay for that. It ain't even got to be us. The universe itself is going to pay them back in ways that we probably will never even know.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a time where if there was ever going to be any type of mass movement towards something positive, that would have been it. It would have been the perfect stage to kickstart things off. But it was the perfect stage for the one-time gaffle them up.
Yep. The ride to the drive through McDonald's, like Ice Cube would say.
Yep. The one-time gaffle them up. And if that's what you can see all of the power and all of the love, and that's what you took out of it, oh, my God, I don't want to be you when that check gets cashed.
We talked about this on your show and mine, but mostly on your show. And, we have a saying in Islam, and it says, die not unless you die the death of a Muslim, which basically means that, the death of a Muslim is supposed to be an easy death, like you die in your sleep or you die peacefully or whatever. But supposedly when you die painfully and slow and it's stretched out and, it's a lot of agony, this is to say that there's something that you deserve. And I think that, I was there for the first Million Man March, and I feel the same way about it that you do. I wasn't there for any others. And I saw all of the money. As a matter of fact, I was a lieutenant and oversaw, a lot of the money. And quite frankly, for all of that to go down and nothing to be done after, and people just tried to publish some BS statistics saying crime went down after the Million Man March. Like, what? Because we all in Washington, crime went down? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I remember seeing it 5 years later. What happened 5 years later? Crime went down. The crime went down basically because of technology and a lot of other things, like affluence occurred because, anyway, we could get into that in another show because studies will show that in 1995 and before 1995, we as a people was really, really freaking poor. And we're poor now, but if you look at us back in the 60s and the 70s, and, that's one of the reasons why the conscious groups were so full of people is because, people knew that, most people was poor and the only way out for them was a conscious group. Now, a lot more people got money and it kind of muddies the waters because you always have to choose between resources and liberation, and you got to be a very strong person to choose both. But, I agree 1,000%. There's definitely a heavy punishment, and you will not die a peaceful death behind that, man. You definitely won't. I was going to get to this, but I guess I couldn't get to it. But what I was going to say in the whole preach what you practice, since I have you there and there's nobody really in the queue with their hands up, I guess the last question I'm going to ask you before you go is this. I think a lot of times people who try to infiltrate the group will come at one of us or come at a bunch of us, and, if they're not, if I see somebody got beef with you, they're going to get blocked instantly before I, if I don't cuss them out first and then block them. If I see that they got beef with Roger, anybody like that, I'm coming to the defense. And I'm not saying that I'm this big character or whatever, but I'm another guy that has love for my brothers and my sisters. Basically, to me, I think that you are not preaching what you practice if you're a nationalist and definitely a part of the BAIO when you allow somebody in the circle that is an enemy or you deal with somebody in the circle, that's not in the circle, that's an enemy. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, let me see if I understand. You're saying if you deal with a person who's an outside agitator and you're in the BAIO?
Yes, like if in the nationalist group, period, because, I just think, brother, and I thought about this long and hard today. We mash on religion in the conscious community. In the Nation of Islam, we look at the Nation of Islam teachings as not necessarily a religion. We look at it as a way of life and your nature.
Mm-hmm.
And we are all mashing on religion and religious people and how they act. But the one thing I think that is good about religion is the closing of the ranks to the point where if you are speaking against Jesus, the whole congregation ain't messing with you. You know what I'm saying? If you're speaking against, Moses as a Jew or speaking against Jews in general, the whole community comes against you. What I think that we are not practicing what we preach in nationalism is when somebody has a problem with one of us, we don't all close ranks against that person.
Oh, you know why?
Why is that?
Because a lot of people identify with the agitator.
There you go.
See, just because a person is, all right, I'll use this as an example. You have a real fine girl, like Jane Kennedy level fine, and she's hanging out with a girl who ain't on her level, maybe like average. But that girl will hang out with Jane Kennedy level girl, be her best friend, roll wherever she goes, and hate her guts. But the reason why she's with her is because that girl gets a lot of male attention. So she knows if I'm with this girl, there's going to be guys around. So let me attach myself to her because I get something out of the deal.
Right.
The whole reason for her being with her is just disingenuous from the gate. And there's a lot of people in our midst that's the same way. They don't really have our backs. And you can tell when somebody outside agitator comes, they don't come in to defend us because they either got their popcorn out to try to see how the fight is going to go, because it's all entertainment for a lot of people. Or they secretly or like vicariously living through the person who's going at us.
Right. Oh man, that's I didn't even think.
Isn't it sad? But it's the truth. It's like there's not a lot of people who's really about this, who's really about it. It's a lot of strap hangers.
Yep.
And you can take. This is why I say I don't judge people because I want to know something. Thank you for reminding me of this. This classism issue in our ranks, where we judging people by your class, what your income level is, and all of this other stuff. Let me ask you, here in America, which class of black people is free of white supremacy?
Not a single one of them.
So here we are, like jackasses, trying to make distinctions between us, where the people in power have no distinctions. They see no distinction between a Henry Louis Gates and a Mr. Holism.
Nope.
They don't see any distinctions. Like I tell people all the time, the white man knows us better than we know ourselves.
Yep.
Because we see all of these differences, all this nuance. Well, I'm not that type of black person. I'm this type of black person. Oh, I make 6 figures. I make 7 figures. I'm a professional. You're just a blue collar. All of this bullshit.
Exactly.
But when we look at these stories on the news and we hear about these people getting shot, it stretches across all economic groups, all income levels, all class levels. Why? All not only that, it stretches across all cultures. You're Caribbean, it doesn't matter. You're African American, it doesn't matter. You're continental African, it doesn't matter. You can get a nice stick shoved up your ass just like anybody else.
Exactly.
So if our enemies can see that they dealing with all one people, what's our fucking problem?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's kind of what I was trying to say, brother, when I was saying, like, when you want to rule out, quote-unquote, Pookie and Ray Ray and say Pookie and Ray Ray did this and that and the next thing, do you understand what you're saying? You're saying you're not really a nationalist because a nationalist, a black nationalist, seeks to take black people and form a nation. Nowhere in that description And I haven't, maybe I haven't been doing this longer than anybody else, but, man, nowhere in that description that I see it seeks to take the elite, the talented tenths, and those who fit this criteria and not that. And like I said before, man, and I guess I can say it a little bit looser than I said it before, I've been around brothers and sisters who got a record and they can't work because the white man won't let them work. And let me tell you something, man. These brothers and sisters ain't joking, brother. All they thinking about is how they can turn the dollar into $5 the quickest way possible. And they could care less about filing a DBA. They could care less about, they'll go in and get all their tax paperwork or whatever because in their mind they got to eat. And they're, and the white man is blocking them from eating because they got a record. And you could say, well, you did that to yourself. But listen, everybody makes mistakes and everybody deserves a second, maybe a third chance. And what I know in my lifetime is I've dealt with a lot of brothers and sisters who, it took them 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 chances. And everybody's telling me, leave that person alone, they ain't this and they ain't that. And you want to know something? On chance number 7, they became the most faithful person I ever dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because this is the thing that people don't see. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because you already know this. I judge people by their spirit individually. I look at that person that I'm speaking to and see what I'm dealing with. Because a lot of these highfalutin, what do you call these people? These boule people, these upper the middle class people. Well, if we in a beef, we'll leave you flat.
Word.
And the guy who's supposed to be Pookie and Ray Ray will put a baseball bat to a dude because he tried to step to you.
Exactly. Quick. Really quick.
So, I don't go this is another thing, Minister. I'm so tired of people attacking religious people, and I'm not a Christian, but I'm getting tired of seeing these memes where people say, fuck Jesus, da-da-da-da-da. I'm tired of that bullshit.
Oh, my God. Yeah, me too.
I'm tired of it. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to insult your religious beliefs? I think that our platform is perfect. We don't waste our time talking about religion. We start talking about land, infrastructure, nationhood. You can be whatever religion you want to be. Do you agree with that concept? Do you agree with those principles? Can we have a conversation centered around that? That's really the only thing we need to be talking about.
Exactly.
See, but the problem is you got a lot of moralists who are more interested in controlling other people's lives and dictating what they should and what they shouldn't do, and that's the reason why we get caught up in the minutia of this BS and not concentrating on what we should be concentrating on, which is nationhood. And don't tell me what you ain't going for, Negro. Don't tell me, well, if there's homosexuality, I can't be in it. You in a nation right now with homosexuality, and what you doing about it?
Exactly.
You ain't doing a damn thing. You're in a nation right now where you have interracial relationships. What are you doing about it? So don't sit up there and tell me what you ain't going for when you go for every goddamn thing America has to offer.
Hook, line, and sinker. Word up. See, and that's the thing.
It just kills me. It's like we got these set of standards that we're going to apply for us, but we don't apply those set of standards for the people that we live in this structure right now. They can do anything, put us in any conditions, and we'll sit there and deal with it and say, please give me more. But when we start talking about having a nation, now all of a sudden it's all of these lines in the sand that can't happen because, I ain't going for that because I can't have a nation because blah, 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 blah. That is what you call bullshit. That's what you call Negro stalling tactics.
Yep.
And people are starting to see it. You talking about you getting excited. Let me calm down.
Oh, no. It's the spirit of the night, bro. I'm gonna ask my astronomer friends what went down because I don't know what happened to me. But anyway, it's like that's why I asked myself, how in the world did the black movement turn into us against gays or us against? How did it turn into that? How did it turn from us trying to fight oppression and either build our own nation or separate or both? How did it turn into that? Because listen, I got children. And I will admit on the radio show that I do not want my children to be homosexual because, like Kevin Hart said, I am a heterosexual man. And I do not want my children to be that. That being said, I also do not want my children to have to experience homosexual education in kindergarten or in grade school or whatever. That being said, if it happens, I'm going to have to deal with it.
Right.
I'm going to have to deal with it. I'm going to either have to take my children out of homeschooling, or I'm going to have to, sign some kind of quote-unquote petition. And in that case, you mean like, if you go and you sign a petition, you might as well give $20, $30, $40 a month to BAIO and help us get this nation. Because quite frankly, that's what you're doing when you sign a petition. What you're saying is you don't like what's going on, and you're still going to stay here and you're going to tolerate it. You understand?
Right. Right.
And for me, if you're a nationalist, if you want to preach what you practice, if you really practice nationalism, every time you see something you don't like, you should see something you don't agree with. Every time one of us gets shot, you should try to go out there and get 5 more people to come into the BAIO. If you're a sister and you say that, oh, the black man doesn't protect me, the black man is just like the white man, what you should do is you should go out and get 5 black men and bring them into the BAIO. Because quite frankly, doing it here in America, what you're admitting is that you're powerless against it, and you're not going to do nothing about it. And if you're not going to do nothing about it, stop talking about it.
Exactly. And another thing is that the BAIO is not requiring anything from you financially. What we're saying is find other people in your state and connect with them so we can get a proper assessment of how many people are actually serious about this nationhood stuff and how many people is really just complaining and bitching and moaning and want to stay here in America. You know,
take it.
Let's get a proper assessment of who wants to go and who wants to establish something and who wants to continue to get their ass kicked.
Yep.
But we also know that he does not exist today. So fishy backing on Brother Clarence again. You got a whole lot of confusion today.
That's right. Yes, sir.
On what the Nation of Islam is today.
Come on.
You got a whole lot of confusion on what the Nation of Islam teaches today. Because there's a nigger in Chicago today.
Come on. That's right.
Talk black to me.
Talk about it. Yes, sir.
With a big fat ego today.
Come on.
A bold nigga. Who got the nerve to fix his mouth on Master Farrakhan Muhammad.
Come on.
And say of Master Farrakhan Muhammad that if Master Farrakhan Muhammad is so powerful, why does he pray? Talk black to me.
See?
A black liberator, a black revolutionary. Not only is your mission is to liberate the people, but you also must have plans in place. You must have a thought process in place. What are you going to do with the people once you liberate them? What is the plan for the future? Not in 10 years, not in 20 years, but 100 years down the line. Have you thought that far? No, you have not, because you cannot even get yourself liberated. Minister Louis Farrakhan in 1995. Excuse me a second. Minister Louis Farrakhan in 1995. He called for the Million Man March. And just recently, we had the Million Youth March. And I very much doubt that a million youth showed up to participate in this march. In fact, we should stop this march crap, period. We love to do things over and over that produce no fruit. In 1995, Louis Farrakhan is the only black man, in the history of our struggle that had an opportunity. There was from 1.5, some even say at least 2 million black men came to Washington, D.C., Rastafarians, 5% Nation, Christians, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, from all ways of life. They came to Washington, D.C. to be disappointed. You say you want to uplift 40 to 70 million black people in this country. Louis Farrakhan said that through him, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would get all his people. But here you are, you had the ears of about 2 million people, actually more, all over the country. Black people was listening to Louis Farrakhan. And what did Louis Farrakhan do? Nothing. He gave a sad speech and disappointed everybody that came to the march. And then the leader, the voice, the creator of the Million Man March, when he heard the Uncle Toms and the dark Europeans make fun of him 24 hours a day, telling him how he blew it, instead of fighting back and keeping the momentum of the march, the man who created the march decided to get on an airplane and travel around in the Middle East. This is the type of leadership that we have had. And leave your soldiers and abandon your people after you started something. That's what's wrong with many black folks. You start something, then you quit. Because somebody talking about me. So you run to Saudi Arabia. You go to Iraq and Iran and Libya. So you don't have to hear these niggas talking about you. You are the one that said, through me, Elijah Muhammad said, I'm going to get all my people. But then when the people start to come, you don't even know what to do with them. The black power, black conscious, Uncle Toms and Coons and Sambos, that's the type of people that y'all listen to. Who are they? What are they really about? Are they about your liberation? Are they really about your freedom? Are they about themselves? Glorification, grandiose, egotistical maniacs, material seekers, celebrity seekers. What are they really about? You know something? I've talked so long and I haven't even really got to the post. Can y'all bear with me? Can you hang with me? There is something that you never hear from black people anymore in the hood. And that is the old saying, let's get real. Baby, I'm real. Black people used to say that all the time. I'm real, baby. You never and very rarely hear black people express real. Never. And you never hear black people talk about their soul. Man, hey, baby, I got soul. We used to have soul music, not R&B. But the reason why you don't have soul is because you sold your soul for diamonds. You sold your soul for material things. You sold your soul for celebrity. Malcolm X was not part of the black struggle because he was looking for celebrity. He was not looking to sell DVDs and make YouTube videos. Malcolm X was a serious man. Elijah Muhammad was a serious man. Huey Newton, Eldridge Cleaver, and all our freedom fighters, Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, everybody on the battlefield, they was not looking for celebrities. What was they looking for? What was they looking for? They was looking for freedom, justice, and equality. I want a black planet. I'm sick of being around these Caucasian pink people that oppress me. I don't want nothing from them. Leave me alone. You never heard Malcolm X tell nobody, it's all right, go sleep with pink women, pink men. It's all right. You can still fight for black power. You never heard that from Elijah. You never even heard it from Martin Luther King. Y'all just some lazy, nasty, trifling, pitiful ass niggas. That's the bottom line. And you make me shame. But you want to know something? Y'all not real. Because if you was real, then you need to support the people that really want our freedom, our liberation. But these Uncle Tom, black conscious, black power Negroes, they don't require nothing of you. It's like going to church. Give your tithe. Give your charity. And that's it. You don't want to mess with me. You don't want to organize with me. Because not only will you be put to work, but you're going to be put on a battlefield for real, because we're not going to let crackers. Oh, man. See, that's not even me. See, I'm getting upset. Because I'm not going to sit around and let these pink people kill us when they get ready to. If they kill us, then we got to knock some of them off too. Innocent or guilty. Because none of us are doing anything to deserve that they kill us, so we innocent. So why is it wrong that some of their innocent don't die too? These are men. They bleed, they live, and they die. Just like I can die. Just like I can be hurt. They can be hurt too. And so what? Y'all so scared. Look what they'll do. They'll win. So what? When they wake up in the morning, they still going to have a black eye. When they wake up in the morning, one of their toes shot off. When they wake up in the morning, they won the fight, but they're going to have to deal with their stab wounds. Because we ain't going out like a punk. This ain't church. This is black revolution. Black liberation. And if you're not about that, sit your ass down, please. You are embarrassing everybody who is serious. Just like y'all fakes that go to the Christian church. You know good and well you don't have the discipline to be a good Christian. Running around, the Christian lady got 6 and 7 babies, she not married. The pastors running around, chasing the women, getting them pregnant. Y'all drunk. You go to the club every Saturday and Sunday night. Bunch of fakes. And then you embarrass and make the good Christians, the people that's really trying to be a Christian, you make them look bad. Greedy, selfish, arrogant. And all these people, all this garbage that y'all put up. You don't impress me, that's why they don't mess with me. Because I'm serious as a heart attack. It's time to get our people free. All jokes aside. Stop going to Disneyland. Smoking crack. How you gonna be a black man fighting a revolution and the only thing on your mind is some woman's panties? Y'all panty sniffers. I'm a black revolutionary. Once you get this beast off your back, you deserve a woman. Until you get this beast off your back, you don't deserve no woman, period. You ain't earned nothing. You're not a man. Bunch of cowards. Oh, man. Woo. You understand where I'm coming from. Minister, you an agent, you a spy. But when it's all said and done, what I'm going to tell you and what I present to you is the real truth of the situation. The real truth of what's going on. And y'all claim that y'all into the truth. Well, you're no better than Christian people. When Muslims talk about Jesus, you act just like Christians do. Don't be talking about my Jesus. You hating on Jesus. You used to believe in Jesus. Believers in this God, they claim they like the truth, but when real truth comes to them, they really don't like it because real truth, the unadulterated truth, interferes with their belief system. And it messes up your fantasy and your delusions of what things are supposed to be. I want to talk about Mr. Farrakhan. Has nothing to do with hate. I don't care who he slept with. I don't care about his family life. I don't care about all that. It's his opinion and his interaction with black people in this country. Minister Louis Farrakhan talks mighty big, and he talks high and mighty. Beautiful orator, articulate, charismatic. I'll tell you this. When I was a young FOI, a lady came out of the meeting with this big old hat on. Looked like you know how Christians on those special holidays, they wear these big hats and everything. She was coming out of the meeting, and she said something that I really did not like. She said that was a wonderful show. I'm like, what? A wonderful show? This is what you think what we're doing? We're trying to do something here to change the condition of black people. And this woman here going to tell me what I'm involved in is part of a show. But as time goes on, those words kept echoing in my mind what she was saying. But as time goes on, time always reveals what things truly are. And it seems as though this woman was correct, that I was involved in a show. That's all it was, is a show. Because the person that I'm following, the person that I consider a leader, is not really leadership material. And I will tell you why. He can only put on a show. And even he himself said, I am a follower, a student of another man that don't exist. So you can't lead on your own. You're depending on somebody to follow, and that person isn't around anymore. Then what are you doing? You're just walking aimlessly out here hoping that you get something right. I want to remind you. I want to remind those old school followers of Louis Farrakhan, and I want to tell y'all who are new, because y'all don't know. How you going to get angry at me, call me a hater and an agent and a spy or whatever you come up with, and you don't know? This is my experience. I was there, right there in the house. I'm telling you what's going on here. And you make up your mind. But you need to know, just like I would like to know. They call Minister Louis Farrakhan the reminder. Well, I am going to be the reminder today. I want to tell you this. Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, since 1981, has had millions, if not $1 billion passed through his hands. And the Nation of Islam has a little farm and has a little things that whatever that they brag about. That is nothing compared to the millions of dollars he has had and squandered and blew. You can't take black people's money like that and just throw things away. And now you stand up like you got it going on, like you're going to do anything different. You've had since 1981 to show what you're going to do with millions and millions of dollars. And these people continue to give this man that has done nothing for us with the millions of dollars. The followers of Louis Farrakhan still working the white man's or the Caucasian racist pink people's jobs, still dependent on Caucasian people in order to survive. If you take these jobs away from his followers, they don't have nothing, because they have yet, since 1981, been able to make jobs for themselves. Everything he touches a failure. And there's a reason why for that, and y'all, oh wow, you just don't know. At the same time, if it was not for Louis Farrakhan, believe me, I would not be talking to you. He has a purpose, but his purpose is not leadership. He's not a leader. He's not the one to take you into what the Quran calls the hereafter. That's not his job. He causes others to wake up. Those who are still in the womb influence and cause a different mentality to come up from up out of the people. But he himself, that's not his job. He can't do it. He don't qualify. He's not ready because he put on a show. And in the beginning, it was good to put on a show so that would influence and inspire us to get up and do something. But now the time for entertainment is over. And black conscience and black power and all these Afrocentric, y'all putting on a show. And ain't nobody impressed. Elijah Muhammad was not putting on a show. Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and all our forefathers before us, they were not putting on a show. That's why the Caucasian man had to raise up and do something about him. You don't see the Caucasian people running to do anything to none of these people. Because it's a show. Louis Farrakhan was the first black leader. Listen to me. Louis Farrakhan was the first black leader that had the ears of black America. All kinds of brothers and sisters. They supported what we call the Million Man March. I participated in the Million Man March. I even got brothers to come with me. We went to the Million Man March. Beautiful day. Wonderful day. And you can go on YouTube and you can listen to what Louis Farrakhan had to say on the Day of Atonement. First of all, I have a problem with the Day of Atonement because we are people who are the products of races and we are insane in the mind. And if you are insane, you're not responsible for your actions because you're insane. You're out of your mind. So how can you, why should we be asked to atone until first we are healed? First you got to be healed. And when you are in your right state of mind but continue that behavior, then that's when you can step up to the plate and say, I need to atone for my sin because I knew better. But when you are out of your mind, when you are insane, it even tells you in the Caucasian criminal law, you're not responsible for your actions. So I have a problem with the Day of Atonement just based on that. And then in his speech, he talks about a dollar bill and some other stuff and the history of Washington, D.C. What does that have to do? Is this all you're going to tell 1 million, 2 million men that step up and looking for you for guidance? This is all that you got? I heard in the crowd the disappointment as they was listening to what is this not talking about anything. What is this? You can listen to the speech yourself. Of course, those who are loyal and those who enjoy the show, even to this day, makes them no difference. They feel some kind of pride. Then the man that created the Million Man March, the one who put it together, that caused all these black men to come together, when the Uncle Toms, when the Coons, when they got on the radio and television and was making mockery of him, saying how he blew it because Louis Farrakhan had the opportunity to become the first black leader that actually could guide and lead black America. And he blew the opportunity, he blew the chance. And the Uncle Toms and the Coons was talking about him. Then next thing you know, he says that God told him to go on a tour. Here is your general. You are at war. And your general gets on a plane and takes off and leave all the soldiers. You got to fend for yourself. He's going out the country to talk to Saddam Hussein and people in Iran, all these Muslim countries. And then what is the benefit? You going to bring us some rockets? You going to bring us some jet planes? What are you doing on this World Friendship Tour? What are you doing? You going to bring us some money? Didn't accomplish nothing. It was just the fact that you couldn't take the mockery and you knew that you was a failure and you couldn't handle it and you got out of the country. And you wasn't man enough to stay with your soldiers and say, we finna fight this battle. I could care less what some coons talking about. Straighten up and get yourself together. And get on what they say in the Quran and get on the right path. That's all it took. But instead, you just decided to get off the path, get off the land, period. Get in an airplane and take off. Because God told you to. How convenient. Well, what can you do? Who knows what I can do? Matter of fact, it's not about what I can do. It's about what us can do. This is what happens when we depend on one brain. 1 million men, 2 million men took Farrakhan off guard. He always knew about it and dreamed about it, but when it actually happened, what you gonna do? Now you got 2 million men, you got all these people looking up to you. Now what you gonna do? If you supported me the way that you support him, I can't do no worse. One thing for sure, I'm not going to get on a jet plane and leave you. We're going to fight this tooth and nail together. I'm not going to run away. No matter what happens, whether we are successful or whether we fail, we're going to fight this battle to the very end together. So you need to make up your mind. You want to keep wasting your money and keep paying tickets and going to see a show? Or y'all want to get real? Like Marcus Garvey and Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali and all our forefathers before. They couldn't put on a show. Because the evil that was against them was very, very real. And our people knew it too. Y'all too comfortable on Facebook and YouTube, living and living comfortable with your Caucasian people job that you got in your silly degree. Don't like what I said? Too bad. It's the truth and you can't handle it. Jot down your comments. Prove me wrong. You can't. It is better to accept the truth. Jot down your comments, subscribe, whatever you want to do. This is the most powerful voice on YouTube. This was and is the Reality Temple on Earth.